Hi, muckers. So it is currently 10 minutes past 8, and I'm actually going to close this door right here. But if you're thinking that this video is overly orange, it's because the light bulb in here needs to be changed and it's like really orange. But I'm in the second bedroom in my apartment, which I haven't been in here in 3 months, basically. And now, if you keep up with my videos, you know that my friend has been living with me for a bit. Now, the reason for that was because her tenancy had ended and she was really struggling to find a place to live. And it was kind of at the stage where she either needed to move back home, which I don't think she would ever come back to Brighton again, or well, that was basically it, because she had nowhere to live. And I kind of said to her, like, I love you very much, like, you've been a great friend, like, I have the second bedroom. Like, obviously, it'll just be temporary because otherwise I would have to, let my landlord know and it would be this full thing. So she was here what was supposed to be a month. And then after the month, she hadn't found a place. And I mean, she was looking every single day for a place and just with having no luck. And then 2 months rolled around. And then I don't know if it was, I think it was like 3 months or whatever. And so I went from living on my own for 2 years to having basically a roommate, and she is now gone literally minutes ago. And this is the first time that I am in my apartment by myself in probably 3 months. And I mean that, like, and she's not like at the shops, or she's not like, working or at the club or something like that. And it's really weird. It's really weird. So I got my Red Bull, and the reason that she's moved out is because her and our other friend, Emily, if you keep up with the story times that I do, are moving in together. And that's currently what's happening. So I came into the room, and I haven't seen this room in so long because I obviously wasn't coming into her room whenever she was living here. And I definitely want to turn this room from like a second bedroom into kind of like a filming room, because I have it and I really don't use it, and so that's why I had no problem with her being here. But I just saw that she left this card, and this is like gonna make me cry. She left this card on the bed. It says Adam on it. Now again, like, I've been talking with her all day and I didn't know she did this. Oh, it says mercy and thank you. Oh, she drew the animals on it. Dearest Adam, thank you for taking me under your wing and saving me from basically homelessness. Because it really was. She had nowhere other than to go back home. And she lives like 6 hours away, 7 hours away from Brighton. Like, this was her last resort. And obviously all of her friends are also students and weren't able to, but thankfully, my circumstances, I had this room. I had the best time living with you. Lots of love, Rachel. And she drew the animals on the other side. That's actually really sweet. It's gonna make me cry. I need to send this to my mom. So yeah, she's drew the dogs and then drew the cats. So you can see that, like for example, like there's the two dogs and then the cats are above it. Um, ugh, it just makes me feel so weird because I'm gonna send this to my mom. This is really sweet. I know she's not watching this video, but Rachel, this means a lot. This is really sweet. It's really sweet. I don't know, I feel really weird. I feel really weird, and it's like, I knew we weren't gonna live together always, but I really, like, she is my closest friend that I have and have had since I moved. And we got on like unimaginably more close. I'm gonna open the window because I'm quite warm. Unimaginably more close from when she was living with me, because obviously, like, we were living together and we were, spending all this time together, and it was nice. And it's I've never experienced it. Sorry, my throat's really struggling today for some reason. Um, it was interesting. Like, I I definitely think I love living alone, but I definitely think I'm going to struggle the next few days because just knowing that I had someone there was a comfort in a way. I'm literally going to cry, but it's not like I'm not crying from like loneliness or anything like that. I'm just crying from like I'm not even crying. I'm just like starting to tear up from just like I feel like I really did love most of the time because there were times where all I wanted to do was come home to like an apartment where it was just me, and the reason for that was nothing on her. The reason was I am quite a loner most of the time. Like I do love my own space, and sometimes that's all I want. So my sleeping schedule, I can be awake all night and sleep through the day, and it was just kind of like I go through periods where like I don't talk to people a lot, and when someone's living with you, that's like complicated. Like you really can't do that, but over the course of her living here, I went through like quite a couple bad situations. One of them being I went through a really bad kind of relationship, and if I didn't have her, like I just feel that I wouldn't have handled myself, or I wouldn't have gotten over certain situations that have happened in like the past couple months as quick if I didn't have her here to like talk to her, and like just felt more intimate because it really was like having a roommate. And there were just so many times when I kind of felt like I was like living in France. Like, oh my god, like I literally felt like I was living in France, like I had a roommate, and I never thought I would ever want a roommate. And I'm just kind of, I think the next period of time is going to be really interesting to see kind of how I handle being on my own again. And I am quite nervous, if I'm going to be like completely honest with you. I'd be completely honest on this channel more so than probably I should be, but like I'm really nervous for how I'm going to like handle if in the next few weeks something was to happen again where I just need someone to talk to. It's not as easy as like knocking on the door and just asking, and that was what I signed up for, living alone, but that was all I knew, and so it wasn't a problem. And I'm not saying it's a problem that I don't have a roommate anymore. I'm just saying that it's gonna be such a big change and such a big adjustment, and I just think that like the animals having another person in the apartment really helped them. Like the cats are so much more sociable now than what they ever were, because they were forced to see another person every single day, and then whenever people came over to the apartment or come over to the apartment now, they don't run and hide. They are aware that there's other people that exist that aren't just me. And same with the dogs. Like Bonnie really did have like not an anger problem, but she really did have like a frustration. If she feels that I'm in danger, or she feels that Dolly's in danger, she will want to attack. And that was very apparent because we would only go on walks, and I would always take her, to like the beach with Dolly at like nighttime, or maybe during, really early in the morning or something like that, just so, because she can be nervous around other dogs. But her, being used to Rachel in the apartment kind of made it that she wasn't nervous around people anymore. She's still nervous around other animals that she doesn't know, but she wasn't around people anymore, and I just think the animals benefited so much from it, and I just think that it's going to be completely new for everyone. And I didn't think that whenever I said yes to my friend living in my apartment for a month, because she needed somewhere to stay, that it would turn into what it did turn into. And I also didn't think I would enjoy it. I didn't. And I actually felt quite regretful whenever I said it originally, just because I was like, oh my god, what if I'm not a good person to live with? But then I feel that I actually was a good person to live with. And we were like really respectful of each other's boundaries. And there were just so many nights where I would normally like go out to the club and get like absolutely drunk because I wanted to see people. Because again, living alone, you don't really see people. But I didn't need to do that, and I stopped that completely whenever I had someone living here, because instead, we would just sit out in the balcony with like a Red Bull and talk, and there were so many nights where we would sit on the balcony from 9 p.m. until like 6 a.m. with red wine, just talking. And I definitely think it's going to be an adjustment. And I wonder if anyone has any, like, advice. And I know a lot of people, like, this is like a situation where it's kind of like, oh, you just have to get over it. And I know that that's the case, and I know that I'm being dramatic right now, but, yeah, whenever I said goodbye to her, whenever Emily and Aaron came to the apartment and we brought all her stuff down, and, you know, I left her in the Uber, and they all, you know, went to wherever they were going, it kind of was like, I had a moment of, when I lived alone, you know, like what I do now, there were a lot of moments where I would go to my friend Imogen and Rachel's house, and I would come back from it feeling incredibly lonely because, you know, they would have each other to talk to, and then I would go back to my apartment, and if I wanted someone to talk to, like, I would have to go to their house again, and, you know, so I felt like that whenever I left them all off at the Uber, and I haven't felt like that in a very long time, and it was kind of it was like an alarming moment that kind of just like triggered something in my brain where I was like, oh shit, this was how I used to always feel, and I always used to say to my parents, and they always used to say to me, like, would you ever consider getting a roommate, and, you know, like a full-time roommate, or, you know what I mean, and it's like, and it's so, like, dramatic, because I'm seeing them all tomorrow, like, it's Emily's birthday tomorrow, and we're all going, like, out for, like, the entire day. So, like, I'm gonna see them all, including Rachel, tomorrow. So it's, like, not even... But my reason for saying this is just... I feel that I've been in such a routine of... Even just being careful that there's someone else here, so I'm not, you know, filming too loud, or I'm not, you know, vlogging in like, the main space of the apartment, so I'm not, you know, by chance recording her, or recording her stuff, or, like... You know, like, I didn't have... This used to be, like, my filming room, and I haven't had this in a long time, and it's, let me say, lovely to have my filming room back. And, by the way, question, I live in a rental. Like, I rent my apartment. It's a 2-bedroom apartment, my bedroom's in there, this one's the second bedroom. It has this huge bed that takes up most of the room, and... Hold on, like, I'll actually show you, because... So, the room is really bare right now, because it was decorated, then I undecorated it, and, you know, she took all her stuff out. And the carpet is a mess right now. It's literally all, like... This is literally all cat fur, because I was scraping it all from under the bed, and I need to hoover this up. So, ignore this. Pretend this is clean, right? So, we have this floor space, and we have the desk, we have the bed, or whatever. So, the bed takes up most of the space... Is it a case where I can message my landlord and be like, hey, was just wondering if I could get the bed taken out of the room? Is that something that a landlord would do? Or would they be like, no, you bought 2 bedrooms, like, fuck it. Like, we're not going to put it in storage, or we're not going to... Like, is that something, like, would they charge me? Would they just say no? Like, would they whatever? Because I feel that, like, I really haven't... This room does not get used... unless my mom comes over for the weekend, or unless my friend comes over, my friend needs somewhere to stay, and it's like... I just wonder if I could do that. So if anyone, like, knows, or anyone has ever, like, asked their landlord that, like, let me know. Because I really, really, really would want to get this bed taken out. Because I don't, there's not enough people that stay over in my apartment for me to, like, keep the bed here. And it's like, at this stage, I'm, like, paying... in rent for 2 bedrooms, and I'm not even using it, and it's like, I almost want to say to my landlord, like, it's either you get rid of the bed in here, so I have this room, or can I, you know, downsize to a 1-bedroom apartment with the same, you know, balcony, and same, because there are those in this apartment block, because I just am not making use of it while this huge bed's in here, because what am I gonna do, sleep in here Monday, Tuesday, in there Wednesday, Thursday, here Friday, Saturday? Like, no, it's, one of them is my bedroom, and one of them isn't, and that one's my bedroom because it has the ensuite bathroom, so that's the one I prefer. However, I do prefer the windows in this one. It's, like, huge. Like, this opens up completely, this opens up completely, this opens, and it's, like, really nice, especially during the summer months. So, if anyone knows... I don't even want to ask my landlord, and then they straight up say no. So, if it's a stupid question, if anyone thinks it's a stupid question, let me know, and I just won't ask them. So yeah, I think as well, having someone live with me kind of forced me to be on top of the apartment in a way that I wasn't when I lived alone, because I was very I was almost like more cautious of how the apartment looked when there was someone else living here, which is so weird. Like, I was like cleaning the apartment multiple times a day just so, because I knew there's someone else living here, so someone else was observing it, and it kind of made me be like a better tenant in a way. So I feel like I've been doing the routine of what I've been doing, like keeping on top of the apartment so much for the past 3 months, that I just feel that if I continue the routine and be like, oh, like, maybe I'll have people over. But I never had people over in the apartment, like friends, for like the first like year of me living here, because it always made me uncomfortable. Like, I really didn't like people in my space, and so having someone literally live in my space, and there were a couple times where I would go on trips and she would be the sole person in the apartment, and now that I never thought I would ever get to a place of trusting someone that much, but I did, and it's like, oh my god, 2 years ago, a year ago, I never even allowed my friends to come over for like drinks because I was so nervous about people being in my space. And now, oh my god, I was able to leave the apartment for a weekend while my friends stayed in the apartment. And it's like, I just think, if anything, it did a world of good to try it out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that, that it wasn't like, that was my first thing. And I'm lucky enough that I was able to, if I wanted to live alone, I could. That's not the case for everybody, and I'm aware of that. But I'm lucky, and I'm glad that I made that decision. I was able to make that decision. Again, that's not the case for everyone. I am aware of that, but I'm glad that I did make that decision to live alone first. And I never thought I'd be able to try having a roommate while having my apartments. This was kind of like a middle stone, and it kind of like gave me a taste for it, and it wasn't like she stayed here for like a week or whatever. So, I don't know, it's gonna be an interesting I think it's gonna be an interesting few days. I think I'm gonna get over it, and I think I'm gonna get back into my routine, but I just think that I'm gonna have like an adjustment period of being like, wow, it's silent, and wow, I'm all alone here. But again, I just think that I will get past that, and I know I will, because I did it for 2 years, and I know deep down that that is something that I really enjoy. I do enjoy being on my own. I do enjoy having my own space. I enjoy going out, and then whenever I feel that I'm being like stimulated by like too many people or too loud conversations or whatever like that, that I'm able to come back to my like own quiet place that's like a safe space for me. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to make this out to be like, oh, I'm so regretful of everything, because I'm not. And like, I feel that it's just gonna take a second. It's gonna take a second, and I just think that like, I'm always so nervous about my mental health when it comes to the last couple months of the year anyway, because I've been very open about the fact that I very much just struggle mentally the last couple months of the year, and I haven't felt that at all September or October, because I was able to talk to someone so often, and because I didn't feel that I was doing everything on my own, and I was able to ask for opinions on situations, and she'd be like, oh, you're overthinking that or whatever. And whenever you're on your own, like, you don't have that voice, so it's kind of like, so I guess I'm just more nervous that it's whatever time of the year it is, that I'm always just on high alert of feeling like, oh, when's the moment gonna happen? You know what I mean? There's always like a moment at the end of the year that like traumatizes me, and I'm not even saying that lightly. Like, the past few years, there's been something, and someone commented on my live stream yesterday where I was talking about this, and they were like, stop claiming that. And it's like, I'm not claiming it. I'm knocking on wood. I'm not claiming it, but I'm just being realistic that I'm looking at the pattern. And it's like, I've spoken to so many of you about wintertime sadness, and it is a scientific proven thing. It is with not getting enough sunlight, and lacking vitamins, and also the weather making you feel unmotivated, and then the gloomy weather reflecting mentally with you as well. And it's just, it is very much so a scientifically proven thing that the wintertime sadness, depression is a real thing. And I've been feeling it for many, many, many years. Me and my friend Ellie have always related on it, and I haven't felt it this year. I know we're only starting to get in winter, but one of the main reasons for that was because I always had a person that I felt like I could tell something to, like, quickly. Like, I have people I can talk to. That's not the thing, but I just felt I could, like, quickly reach out to someone, you know, knocking on the door or whatever. And, you know, she was the same with me, and it's, I don't know. So I just feel that I'm, like, now talking to you to, like, avoid turning the camera off and, like, walking around the apartment and realizing how silent it is. I, like, weirdly feel like how my parents, I can imagine my parents felt whenever I left the house in Ireland and moved here, because I was always playing music and she was always playing music, the same way I would play music, like, on her Alexa. And so, you know, there was always that noise kind of in the apartment. I'm not complaining, like, there was always that noise where I knew someone was there, kind of like a hamster running on a wheel, you know, it's there. So it'll be an interesting couple days. If anyone has any opinions, advice, any thoughts, let me know. And if you don't, that's good as well. I did just want to come on here and talk, and this was really sweet. So that's how I'm feeling tonight. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. I know this video probably came across as so doom and gloom. I didn't mean for it to be like that. It's just kind of how I'm feeling right now. But thank you for watching. I love you, and I will see you in my next one. And bye. Mwah.